And away we go. It is the Nightcap, brought to you by Hail Mary Sports Bar right here on BearcatJournal.com. Go see our good friends at Hail Mary. They're in Cheviot, right on Harrison Avenue. They're in the Dora District. So you can go from bar to bar with your drinks or just hang out, make yourself comfortable at Hail Mary's. They've got a 27 TV setup, a 9-screen video wall, so you can catch all the games. They have the Direct TV streaming package, so everything will be streamed. And Cincinnati Sports always on the 9-screen video wall. Brand new walk-in cooler, brand new draft lines, and of course, ice cold Cincy Light on tap in a 32.8 degree frosted glass. They do have food trucks on the weekends and occasionally throughout the week. All right, Aaron, let's get this show on the road as we continue to get ready or not. Is it not working? What are we doing? I'm confused. There we go. Uh-oh. Aaron's in bad shape here. He was fine 30 seconds ago. Now he's in bad shape here. We got to get you some high-speed internet out in Athens. The hamster on the wheel.
I got to figure out how to hardwire this thing through the drop ceiling. That's really what it comes down to.
Well, you take one wire and you connect it to the modem, and then you run it to the computer, and then you plug it in.
Get that,
and then you're hardwired.
Gotta drill through walls and shit.
It's all right. Just use an air duct. Use a vent or something. The big news, obviously, of the day is the SEC having their convention, their meetings in Destin. A lot more stuff came out of that, but we talked a lot about the SEC stuff yesterday, and Greg Sankey and his place as Lord Palpatine in the ruination of college sports. So I don't think we need to go down that road again. But there were a couple interesting topics that came up, because of things going on at SEC meetings. So we'll throw Aaron over here in the driver's seat, and we'll get to it.
I guess the biggest thing for me, outside of the playoff and formatting of the playoff, which we'll see what that even comes down to, if it's going to be 4-4-2-2-1 or the 5+11, who knows. When there's something concrete to discuss there, we'll discuss it again. But I think the biggest thing for me today that came out was discussion of a single portal, and it's gaining some traction. Kirby Smart, Georgia's coach, was talking about it as he gave a deep argument for a single transfer portal in January, with portal timing continuing to be a debate, as many administrators believe March, April, or May portal is better to align with the academic calendar and House Rev Share Cap year. Kirby Smart went on to say the biggest decision that has to be made in college football right now is, when is the portal window, and is there one or two? It presents an interesting situation because as things currently exist, you have a portal that opens up right after the college football playoff is over, and then
opens up right after the season ends.
Oh, okay.
It opens up after conference championship week, runs through the entire bowl season.
And then they have to recruit while still being in playoff games.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then the second one opens up after most teams are done with their spring game, if they have a spring game at this point. But having one window in, that March, April, May time frame, we would potentially be in a transfer portal right now. But that's not the way that things currently exist. So there's certainly some pros and cons for both. I'm curious what your thoughts are in regards to one or two portal windows.
So I don't hate the idea of two portal windows. But it gets complicated if we are going to still continue the facade that these are student athletes. Because the way this has worked in football, the first transfer portal runs right up until the start of the winter semester. And then you can commit, get enrolled, sign your paperwork, whatever, and then be a student at your new school for the winter semester, for winter workouts, through spring practice, and then into the summer. If you do this in January, I don't know. I guess if you start January 1st, most places go back like that end of the second into the third week. So I guess there's some ability to get this done and have kids be able to get enrolled and be ready to go for the winter semester into spring ball. That would be my biggest concern of moving it there. I would almost say if you're looking to build your team, it only makes sense that essentially the football year goes from January to December, unless you're in the playoff or you have a late bowl game or whatever. Like, it kind of mirrors the calendar year. Aaron, you're going to want, if you're going to bring in starters, guys that are going to be expected to play significant roles on your team, you would absolutely prefer them to be there in January over coming in May and enrolling for summer classes, kind of like how basketball kids do. They enroll, you're starting to see the team arrive now. They'll start workouts next week, and that'll go through their summer program. So basketball season kind of runs from July to April, or June to April. You want to get it done as quick as possible because you want to start getting your kids up to speed and your system acclimated to what you're doing as quick as possible. But again, if we're going to continue this facade of being about academics as well, it would be hard for a kid that misses that window, commits in January, and then do they go back to their old school and take classes until it's time to go to the new school? Like, what is the protocol for a kid that doesn't squeeze into this tight beginning window and misses it, and then now doesn't have a home until June when classes start back up?
And the way that things currently exist is the only thing that binds you to the next school that you're going to is enrolling and starting. Actually, not even just enrolling, but going to your first class. Once you're in your first class, that's when you're there. So without contracts, as things currently exist,
even with contracts,
just curious. I'm just curious as to how you would end up. What I guess are you kind of not on the hook until June?
I mean, look at what just happened today in college basketball, Aaron. Pop Isaacs had committed to Houston over a month ago, back in April. He committed to Houston. Today, Milos Uzan decides that he's withdrawing from the draft and coming back to Houston, and Pop Isaacs signs with Texas A&M because that was he was the fallback plan. If Uzan stayed in the draft, he didn't. Pop's like, I'm not signing up. I didn't sign up for that. I signed up for him not being here. So he goes to Texas A&M. Like, that's still allowed in basketball until these guys start taking classes. So then you present that into the football landscape. Oof.
Well, we all know around here that Flop Isaacs is a terrible human. So no surprise there.
I also, it will be interesting. One, there has been some talk about introducing something like a national letter of intent that binds you to the school more so than having to wait until you actually enroll in the class, attend a class if you're a transfer. So we'll see if that ever really gets any traction. I don't know if it will, because why would you sign that shit? You want to keep your options open because the school keeps their options open. Right. Teams are still adding players, right? Like, rosters are still changing. Even though the portal is closed, there are lots of players still in the portal. So maybe not good ones, but they're in there. So if a school has the right to change the roster, then you should also have a right to change your mind up until the same kind of cutoff date. But the biggest thing, like in the current calendar, Aaron, is if these kids don't get enrolled, then if they don't get enrolled for January for the winter semester, then they're not going to be a part of spring practice. And that's a chance for guys to get a huge head start. 15 practices, a couple scrimmages, it's against your own team, but like it's a chance to impress your coaches, show your work ethic, like start building your stock in that program. If a guy doesn't get in, if we do January or we move it to the spring, now a guy really isn't going to get a chance to do that until camp starts in August when they're finally on the field together. There has been some talk. This will be interesting to see if this goes through, but college moving more towards like the OTA system that the NFL has, which OTA is off-season team activities. It's everybody gets together for 3-4 days. You do drill work and position work and whatever, and you do that sporadically throughout the offseason. I guess if you go to that model and you're doing OTAs throughout the summer, a couple in the spring, couple in the summer, it lessens the necessity of that a little bit. But I guess my main point here, I've been rambling a lot, but I guess my main point is none of this is about the best interest of the athlete. This is all about the best interest of guys like Kirby Smart, who want things to be convenient, who want things to be in a nice, neat little package with a bow, so the coaches don't have to overextend themselves. Look, bro, you're making $10 million a year. Fucking figure it out.
Yeah, well, and I mean, Kirby's at the top of that list. We all know that. There's obviously coaches that make far less than Kirby Smart that are having to deal with this.
But those are the guys whose opinion matters the most, Aaron. That carries the most weight.
Well, it just means more. But I digress. I don't know. At the end of the day, it's disheartening as a fan of the sport, as a fan of college sports in general, that everything is about the dollar anymore, is about trying to get to the NFL model, but trying to figure out how to do that or almost around school. Like as a last, that's the last priority is school. We have to try and fit this into this calendar because school is inconvenient, despite it being school sport. It's so stupid. It's just, I don't know. The NCAA has ceased probably a long time ago now, but it ceased to be about the student athlete. It's about the dollar. It's about making more money, and that's why they want this convenience, is because how do I get closer to that championship? By lining these ducks in a row and making sure that I have the easiest transit. We want to copy the NFL and do what the NFL is doing, but we have to do it around the academic year.
It's what makes everything as streamlined and efficient as possible for the top of the sport. That's how everything is trending right now. What makes the most money and makes everything the easiest to navigate for the folks that sit, on the Iron Throne. And everybody else is just going to have
Ten and the SEC.
Get it. Yeah, well, even a subset of the Big Ten and the SEC. Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, like those are you think Vandy's calling the shots? You think Nebraska's calling the shots? Rutgers? Your family,
Minnesota,
your religion, and Rutgers basketball. Rest in peace, Jimmy V. None of it makes any sense for the kids other than now they're getting paid. So I guess when you're getting paid as much as they get paid, you can figure out the rest from there.
I guess.
Is what it is. Programming change. Wednesday, tomorrow night, we're doing this Tuesday. Wednesday, JP Sponseller and Road to Omaha will be in this spot. The BCJ podcast is moving to Thursday this week with Dave and I. I've got a commitment tomorrow night, so just a little bit of a schedule change. We'll see you next time. That's the Nightcap, brought to you by Hail Mary Sports Bar, right here on BearcatJournal.com.
See ya!